Lord Mandelson once described Donald Trump as a danger to the world and little short of a white nationalist and racist. The Labour peer, a key architect of New Labour under Sir Tony Blair, is set to take over the role of British ambassador to the US when Trump begins his second term as president. It has now emerged that the former cabinet minister previously warned against attempts to make common cause with the president-elect during his first term, saying that Mr. Trump would never be seen to embody British values. The comments, made in an interview with an Italian journalist in 2019, threatened to undermine Sir Keir Starmer's campaign to boost relations with Mr. Trump as he returns to the White House next month. The Prime Minister's decision to appoint Lord Mandelson, a political ally, was designed to signal to the incoming U.S. administration that Downing Street is taking engagement with the Trump camp seriously. But Lord Mandelson's scathing rebuke of the president-elect to Elaine Elkan's podcast in 2019 risks putting an immediate dampener on their relationship. Lord Mandelson said he had never held such views about Mr. Trump, claiming he was merely describing the thoughts and feelings of British people. It is the latest in a series of potentially damaging comments from senior Labour figures that have emerged in recent months, which could impact Number 10's attempts to smooth over past differences with the Republican leader. In his interview with Elkan, Lord Mandelson described Tory attempts to build relations with Mr. Trump, then in his first term in the White House, as disturbing. He claimed that even those with a sneaking admiration for the president would regard him as reckless and a danger to the world, warning that Mr. Trump would never be viewed by people in Britain as a true embodiment of or spokesman for our values. Lord Mandelson said, "I wake up today and discover that not only am I seeing my country, which I love, being forced out of its own European neighborhood, but is crossing the Atlantic to make common cause with an American president who is little short of a white nationalist and racist. So you can imagine I'm not very happy. This disturbs me greatly because it's completely different from all my upbringing, whether my family or in politics, what I believe, and the identity I see for my own country." He added, "What Donald Trump represents and believes is anathema to mainstream British opinion, and the idea that as a result of Brexit, we have to kowtow to an American president who holds those views will outrage people in Britain. Even those who have a sneaking admiration for Donald Trump, because of the strength of his personality, nonetheless regard him as reckless and a danger to the world. Also, the way in which he has conducted himself in relation to the British government, our Prime Minister, who he has insulted, and the way in which he treated Her Majesty's ambassador in Washington has been shocking to British people. In my view, re-elected or not, he will never be viewed by people in Britain as a true embodiment of or spokesman for our values and our interests. He treats us already as if we're a new state, and if Boris Johnson conducts himself like some mini-Trump, he will lose a lot of support in Britain." Lord Mandelson was picked for the influential post, despite Trump commenting in the autumn that Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, would be a great choice. The Labour peer recently suggested the government should use Mr. Farage as a bridgehead to the Trump team, and that the next ambassador should try to befriend Elon Musk. It has also emerged that Lord Mandelson called Mr. Trump a bully in 2018 in an article for the Evening Standard. He wrote, "It is also necessary to recognize Mr. Trump's behavior for what it is. He is a bully and a mercantilist who thinks the U.S. will gain in trade only when others are losing. His idea of a progressive trade policy is one that forces everyone else to give the U.S. more favorable treatment, rather than a trading system from which everyone gains. The new ambassador is a close ally of Morgan McSweeney, Sir Keir's chief of staff, who visited the U.S. last week to boost relations with the incoming president. His appointment comes as the UK faces the threat of tariffs on exported goods by Mr. Trump, and the Foreign Office hopes to expand the export of British services to the U.S. It is a remarkable comeback for Lord Mandelson, who served as the European Commissioner for Trade between 2004 and 2008, and it is hoped that his experience will help the UK navigate tricky territory with the upcoming US administration. Mandelson and Trump at odds over China. However, his former role at the EU and previous comments on issues such as China could prove problematic. Lord Mandelson promised warmer relations with Beijing in September, which could become a flashpoint with Trump, a prominent China skeptic. Speaking at an event at the University of Hong Kong, he said that it was time for both sides to stop throwing mud at one another. He added that Labour has decided that it wants to engage with China after many years of a very poor, deteriorating relationship, and I hope that China will reciprocate in that re-engagement. Lord Mandelson, a staunch Remainer who campaigned for a second referendum, also described the Brexit vote as a gross act of self-harm in 2016. By contrast, Mr. Trump has been highly critical of the EU and said the UK would be better off outside of the trade bloc during his first term. Lord Mandelson was picked ahead of David Miliband, the former Foreign Secretary, Baroness Amos, a former Development Secretary, and Baroness Ashton of Holland, who succeeded him as European Trade Commissioner. Dame Karen Pierce, the current ambassador, will stay in the post until the end of next month, when Mr. Trump is inaugurated. She has extensive contacts among Republicans and was credited with securing a dinner meeting between Mr. Trump, Sir Keir, and David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, in November. The difference is crucial. In October, ahead of the U.S. election, Lord Mandelson was seen carrying a pack of notes which warned that a second Trump presidency could push Europe into the kind of security situation we haven't seen since the 1930s. There are different versions of a Trump presidency, and the difference is crucial, it said. We could see another Trump. Economically protectionist, transactional, but still committed to European security. Or we could see an alternative. Isolationist with a permanent rise in tariffs and no commitment to European security. That could push Europe into the kind of security situation we haven't seen since the 1930s. At the time, Lord Mandelson, who was in the running to be Chancellor of Oxford University, said it was part of his preparation for a presentation to the institution's International Affairs Society. Appointment confirmed. Sir Keir Starmer on Friday confirmed Lord Mandelson's appointment. In a statement, the Prime Minister said, "I am delighted to appoint Lord Mandelson to be the next British ambassador to the United States of America." The United States is one of our most important allies, and as we move into a new chapter in our friendship, Peter will bring unrivaled experience to the role and take our partnership from strength to strength. I would also like to thank Dame Karen Pierce for her invaluable service for the last 4 years, and in particular, the wisdom and steadfast support she has given me personally since July. She made history as the first woman to serve as UK ambassador to the US, and she has been an outstanding representative of our country abroad. I wish her all the very best in future. Lord Mandelson said, "It is a great honor to serve the country in this way. We face challenges in Britain, but also big opportunities, and it will be a privilege to work with the government to land those opportunities, both for our economy and our nation's security, and to advance our historic alliance with the United States." David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, said, "It is wonderful to welcome Peter back to the team. He offers a wealth of experience in trade, economic, and foreign policy from his years in government and the private sector. He will arrive in Washington, D.C. as we deepen our enduring alliance with the incoming United States administration, particularly on growth and security."